Welcome back to the Mike Check Show, man. Today's guest is a true floor general, man, and one of the most important players in Toronto Raptors history. And he became the heart, the voice, and steady hand of a franchise finding its identity for sure. Please welcome, y'all. Please welcome Alvin Williams, man. What's going on, brother?
No, Mike, appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me, dog.
I appreciate you, man, for taking some time out your day, man, to come chop it up with us, man. Now, the way I like to start off my pod is asking some rapid fire questions. You ready?
Yep.
Point guard, Mount Rushmore. Who you got?
Magic, Thomas, Isaiah, Detroit Pistons, bad boy, Isaiah. I'm going to go with Jason Kidd, and I got a bunch of, man, but I got to go with my OG, one of my OGs, Mark Jackson, and I got to give it to Steph Curry.
He just scored the most points as a guard, as a PG?
As a point guard. Most points.
Crazy.
Steals, rebounds, everything. He in the top 5 in a bunch of them categories.
Dude is amazing, man. Word up.
Toughest defender.
My
funny
fault.
about Russ, though, man. The position has changed so much over time. But to your point, man, he gotta be in the conversation. He gotta be because he's the deal and the longevity with it. Because I tell a lot of people, man, it's not necessarily the best players that play in the league. It's the players that can handle the adversity the best. You know what I mean?
Crazy.
Because there's a lot of people that's really talented that just couldn't crack it because of those moments, the politics, the other things that come with it. Now you're nice, but there's some people that just never got that crack.
Toughest defender you ever faced?
Toughest defender.
Give me go one, AW. Give me go one.
Man, I'm gonna tell you who was tough for me. Although it's different because I was never the scorer, so they ain't really have to put the top dude on me. But Stacey Augmon, Plastic Man, was somebody that, like, the way from his length, his agility, his athleticism, and he knew how to play defense. He knew the angles, he knew all those things. So Stacey Augmon was somebody I got a chance. He's my OG, so I got a chance to play against him in practice and then moving forward a little bit. But Stacey Augmon was somebody. But I had another player, man, Brevin Knight. Brevin Knight was
forgot about that, brother.
Quick hands, man. You ain't want to dribble a ball around him. So Brevin Knight, from the size aspect, Brevin Knight was a little smaller, and Stacey Augmon about 6'8", Plastic Man. So those are two.
Best trash talker in the league.
Now or when I played?
At the time.
Gary Payton.
GP.
Gary Payton, because that was part of his game, man. Like, talking was part of his game, just like him backing you down, jump hooking you, hitting the jump shot. That was all part of his game. And sometimes he wouldn't even say nothing. Sometimes he just had that look, chewing his gum.
And he gets you mad. And then when he strips you, even worse.
And then he have his hand out like showing a glove. That's why I not even had him on the point guard at Mount Rushmore. Is that all? That's hard, but he was an idol and somebody I looked up to, and wore number 20. I wore number 20. It was like, it was GP was definitely the biggest trash talker.
Arena to play in besides Toronto.
Madison Square Garden. Madison Square Garden.
Somebody finally said it, y'all.
Madison Square Garden. But Madison Square Garden was it. I got a chance to play in there in Villanova, the Big East tournament. We played St. John's there. So it was always a pleasure playing at the Garden.
Hardest place to win on the road?
Sacramento.
I knew it.
Sacramento.
When they had a squad.
Arco Arena, man, they had a squad. Them cowbells, and I'm lucky because I only played there once a year because we was on the East Coast. So, but you walked in there when they had Jason Williams and Chris Webber, Vlade, and then they went and got better with
Pager
Mike
too,
Bibby.
right?
But then when they went and got Mike Bibby, they was vicious. Doug Christie got there. He came from Toronto, another one of my OGs. He came there and helped them out. Like, so yeah, they was tough. Bobby Jackson. So he was another tough defender for me too, man. But Bobby Jackson, they was tough. But Arco wasn't no joke.
Last one. One rule you change in today's NBA.
I probably would change the flagrant foul rule.
Which one though? Which one? The 3-point that the shooters won, or the
just the idea, the actual not the 3-point shot. That's all that. But even just taking a deeper dive into what a flagrant foul is. Now they got the closeout when you know what I mean,
right?
Reckless closeout and all that stuff. But more so with the foul. I understand you're trying to protect players, you're trying to limit all the whatever come out after somebody getting foul hard. But some of these dudes, man, they big. you gotta foul them hard if you don't want. I grew up in a time when you gotta take away the and one, you gotta take away the foul. So you gotta
It's a
foul with
fact.
physicality. So just that notion of if I'm especially in the postseason, if I'm playing hard and I'm trying to prevent somebody from getting an and one, and I'm 6'5" and I gotta go up against somebody that's 6'10", strong momentum, I gotta hit him. So some of those things, I think, looking into that, I understand it's trying to monitor the game, but I definitely will look at the flagrant foul calls and just the different levels. You got flagrant one, flagrant two.
Right.
I will take a deeper look into that flagrant foul rule.
Now, AW, right? Is it okay if I call you AW? Or
Sure.
Alvin? Let me call you Alvin. Alvin.
Uh,
What was your childhood like? Like, and 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 the reason why I say that is because before we started recording, I asked you about I think me and you both know that Philly is tough.
mhm.
So for my audience, what was your childhood like?
Oh, my childhood was the best. I had a loving mom, father, two older sisters. I had a loving family. My pop was a police officer. My mom was a seamstress.
Oh, salute to
Um,
your dad. Yeah, that's what's up.
yeah. So, and then my dad actually, when I was in eighth grade, ended up switching jobs and became um, he worked for security at Major League Baseball. So he was part
Wow,
of that. So I always had the knowledge, I had the care, I had the attention, I had everything. My pop had the wherewithal and the foresight to send me to private school out of my neighborhood. I grew up in the Mount Airy section of Philadelphia, which is a middle class section. To be honest with you, I think people saw me growing up as part of the Huxtables. You know what I mean? Like the Huxtables type of joint. My pop, it was around that time where like it was only a few of us that really had a dad in the household. So but the more I think back, I had a great childhood. Now as a kid, you see things differently. But I look at my friends and family members and people that I grew up with, stuff like that, and I just saw the difference of it. So my childhood was really, really good, and I got all the tools that I needed to move to navigate life through my childhood.
that's dope, man. Because it's pretty much unheard of, right? You being raised by both parents. You know what I'm saying? Like in my case, I only had moms. Father was there, but he was like non-existent. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? And this is why I took on, the streets. I was looking for that father figure, but that's dope, man. Are they still here with us?
No, they're not here. They passed away.
Oh,
They
rest in
both
peace. I'm
passed.
sorry
My
about
dad
that.
passed away. I appreciate it. My dad they both passed away in the past 3 and 4 years. It's a big loss, but they had health issues, and it's one of them type of things where I got to see my father start struggling through life. And your superhero, those days was harder sometimes than the day it was, sending them home. And my mom, she passed unexpectedly, but she had health issues. But again, fortunately, man, I got my two oldest sisters who took care of me and they held it down. And just us being together, because I met so many people that told me it was a blessing to have a support system when your parents are going through what they're going through, the ailments and all that stuff. So we stayed close knit all through the process, man.
That's awesome, man.
I'm very, very fortunate, man, for my, like, again, my upbringing. And we all have had challenges and everything, but I'm very fortunate, man, with my upbringing and having my sisters still a part of my life today.
That's dope, man. Shout out to your sisters, man.
Thanks, man.
So moving forward, right? What was your mindset entering the league as a second round pick? Were you
Man.
nervous?
Yeah, yeah. I was nervous as hell, excited, anxious, ready to get it on, believed in myself. It was such a
Which is
level of
most important too, Alvin.
yeah,
Believing in yourself.
yeah, yeah. And it got to a point where, when I went 4 years in college and came up in Philadelphia and we we were really competitive. We were close knit. We all grew up in Philly playing in the Sunny Hill League and Total Response League, all Philadelphia leagues where everybody from around the city, nobody was isolated. We all was under one building getting it on from whatever part is North Philly, South Philly, West Philly, Mount Airy, Germantown, and then the surrounding suburbs around there, Camden and all that stuff. And but we were fortunate enough, we had a lot of great idols and great, leaders that came up as coaches and then people we looked up to from the Pooh Richardsons to the Lionel Simmons to the Vel Davises to Snoop Gray. We had a lot of old heads that actually became pros And then around my time, Katino Mobley, Rasheed Wallace, Jason Lawson, Tyrone Weeks, Aaron McKee, then the Temple guys, and all these universities that was around, we all got to compete. So when it was time to go to the next level, it was always a sense of you belong there because I've always been around
That's right.
pros. I've been around pros. So I belong there. So my mindset was, you know what I mean, all the things that you would expect a young kid that was fulfilling their dream. I was excited, nervous, confident, anxious, curious, and just ready to get it on.
For my audience, Alvin, right? What was that first game like? I ask every athlete this question, and they all say the same thing, but I want to hear something different, man.
Well, I don't know if it's gonna be different. I can't even remember my first game, man. To be
Well, that's
honest,
different. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying?
I can't remember. I remember walking in, I was in Portland. I remember walking in a locker room, right? And I'm coming from Philly, so we wore polo all the time. Polo,
Oh,
bright
that's a
color,
fact.
pink, green, whatever. You rocking polo. So I go in the drink and I had a pink polo shirt. And D'Antonio Wingfield says, "Yo, man, who getting ready for their high school pictures?" So they killing me already, but my gear, right? So I just,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I remember like stuff like that, dog. But I remember the regular season game. It was against Seattle Supersonics.
At the time, yeah, yeah.
Sonic at the time, and Gary Payton. I was like, damn. And Kenny Anderson was the starting point guard, and John Crotty was the backup, and I was the third string. Kenny Anderson was hurt. He didn't play in that first game. So I'm like, damn, I'm about to get some burn playing against Gary Payton. Man, I ain't getting no tick. John Crotty might have played all 48 minutes. And I remember going to my brother, childhood friend Rasheed Wallace, who was on the team. And I went to his crib looking for some sympathy. I was like, damn, dog, my first NBA game. First time I ain't never getting no minutes. He's like, well,
What do you say?
damn,
What do you say?
it ain't your first NBA game yet. That was it. And let's go ahead, man. Let's play these video games and let's get out of here, dog. So that was my first time. So that was my first game. I ain't even play. I ain't getting no tick, but it was exciting, dog. It was one of those things where, again, the dream coming true, man. And I was happy to be there, but I wasn't satisfied at all.
Yeah, that's a fact. Now, the reason why I ask is because I could imagine you looking up and you see 19,000 and dog, wow. Once you get once you get your first burn and whoever's on your team pass you the ball and you over here like, damn, what do I do now?
Yeah.
I could imagine that. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy to me, man.
But we
That's
had
that's
them big
wild.
moments. Appreciate it. We had them big moments. Like again, 4 years in college, I played in the Big East tournament, played in the NCAA's, played out at UConn,
That's true.
played Gamble. I played Kentucky.
So you
I
was
played all these
prepared.
places. So I'm prepared for the energy. I'm prepared for the energy. And actually, college energy is much more intense than
Yeah, because they wild.
pro energy.
They
But
wild.
the only thing about pro, you looking at, you seeing your idols out there. You see, oh damn, that's Penny Hardaway. Oh, that's Gary Payton. That's Jordan. Like it's different when you about to go compete against them. But then my teammates, man, they saw my work ethic early on, and they had a high level of respect for me. I think not because of my game. I think just the way I approached every day. I was humble.
The way you
The
carry yourself.
I carried myself professional. They knew I worked hard. I was very respectful. I mean, I competed, but I was very respectful to J.R. Riders, Kenny Anderson, Arvidas Sabonis, Sheik, Brian Grant, Gary Trent. Like, I'm looking at all these dudes like, damn, man, I'm on their team. They part of us. And they made
Facts.
me feel like that. So they showed a lot of confidence in me. Go ahead, young fella. Go get busy. Go to work. Good job. Good shot. Play D like this. Stacey Augman. Like it was real cool, man. So I had a again, I had a bunch of great teammates, man, that held me down, that helped me propel that confidence, dog.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
it
Nah,
was
for
all it was
sure.
a great combination.
What did it mean to become a core leader during the Raptors like early years?
I mean everything.
Was it
It,
challenging?
it was challenging to get to that point. It was challenging
Right.
because again, my rookie year, I was traded my rookie year to Toronto, and it was my first time learning the business. And I started actually, Kenny Anderson was hurt pretty much a lot early on, so it gave me an opportunity to start playing and showing improving and getting the
Yeah.
reps, getting the confidence. I remember I really wasn't playing. I remember Dennis Scott coming up to me, and we both had a mutual old head and Reggie Kitchen who passed away, but Dennis Scott came up to me and was like, "Hey man, I'm Reggie Kitchens, one of Reggie Kitchens' friends and youngins, and I mean, you can play in this league." So I always had people coming up to me like giving me that confidence, and we talk a lot on the court, but it ain't always trash talk. It's I mean helping out, I mean, what's up? Good game, good
Yeah,
shot,
showing love, showing love.
showing love. So when I got to Toronto, man, and things went downhill a little bit, I wasn't getting those opportunities, or if I did get the opportunities, I ain't play as well as I could have or should have. We had a young Vince, Tracy McGrady, and I just wasn't playing to the level I should have been playing or I was playing earlier. But when I got that opportunity, man, it was something that I knew I wasn't going to let go. I knew the work ethic was going to remain, nothing was going to slack off, and I was just going to keep getting better as a player. So I had a short stint where things really start going really well for me
Yeah.
individually, and the team started playing well. But then I had injury, which set me back to that point. But it was important for me, man, because knowing what I know now, I still receive a lot of love in Toronto. I still receive a lot of opportunities in Toronto, and I had those relationships
And
from
that's
that
the
stint.
most important thing, AW. That's the most important thing, man.
Relationships,
Still
dog.
getting love, man. Like, you know what I mean? Worth more than money, worth more than anything, man. Just getting that love, man.
Yeah,
It's
true love,
crazy.
true
Exactly.
love.
True
You know
love.
what I mean?
Correct.
And I think when you talk about Toronto, they love me from a standpoint, or they respect me or appreciate me. Just again, my approach. I would play hurt. I was consistent. I see somebody in the arena. I'm polite. I mean, like I said, my upbringing. I was taught to treat people in a certain manner, and then next thing you know, you starting to get that love back
Yeah.
when the ball stopped bouncing. And a lot of people they
That's a
suffer from that.
fact.
A lot of people still living in their heyday, trying to relive those memories when they was on the court.
And they
And
can't.
something I went through, but they can't. They gone. And now, I mean, now you're looking at the love, you're looking at the appreciation, you're looking at the relationships. Well, it's really been helpful for me, man. So that was Toronto for me early on.
Talking about Toronto, right? What made that team special?
Man, we had
The
uh
squad. I ain't gonna
we had a
lie.
squad, man. We had a squad, and we were young and mature and older. We had a mixture of Vince Carter, so we already know what that was hitting for.
Yeah. Oh, facts.
So, so early on, it was Vince Carter, Tracy McGrady coming into his own. He wasn't the Orlando Tracy, but he ended up being that Swiss Army knife for us. He could play every position damn near. Defensively, he can guard a lot of positions, and he just was coming into his own, and he was a dog. But we had the biggest thing that made us special, dog, was our vets. We had vets across the board from D Brown to Muggsy Bogues to Del Curry to Charles Oakley, Kevin Willis, Doug Christie was there, um, Antonio Davis. And then, vets would come in and out. We end up having Mark Jackson. We had a lot of
Damn,
vets.
you had a bunch of greats, man.
Oh, we had greats, man. They would take us out to dinner. They would get us suits. They would be on our asses during the games, practice, in the media, but take us out afterwards to eat. It was we had real old heads. We had real old heads, and I think that's what made our team special. Like throughout that 3 or 4 year run, we
Span,
didn't have
yeah.
a lot of success, playoffs and postseason, but we start growing as a team. Nobody was hearing about Toronto. I remember when I first got to Toronto, it was calling us Toronto Rappers. It was calling us the Rappers, dog. And then Vince Carter came, and that helped. But our vets was the reason why Vince Carter became who he was. Tracy became who he was. I became who I, ultimately became. But those two guys really took it to the next level
Yeah.
because of vets.
Facts. Toronto Raptors. That's crazy, man. Yeah, the public is
Hey,
wild.
dog, they used to call us the rapper. People, I used to tell people, they be like, "You play in the NBA? Yeah, who you play for?" Toronto Raptors. They say that's CBA or is that overseas? They wouldn't know it was an NBA team. It was crazy, dog.
What you think about the Raptors now, though?
I love
Like,
them, man.
you know what I'm saying? They got boy Scotty, um,
Scotty,
um,
Brandon Ingram,
BI. You know what I
Bi,
mean? Who else?
uh, Manuel
Quickly's a
quickly,
dog.
RJ Barrett,
I,
RJ
I heard he
Barrett.
getting traded.
Hey, I mean, he's in. I don't know
Damn,
what's gonna happen. I don't get, but when I say he's a different player than he was when he was with the Knicks.
100%.
He's growing every day. If he didn't get hurt, man, he's right up there for we could if Toronto could have had potentially three All-Stars because he was playing at that high level. He back at his last game, he just had 29, so he's feeling better. He sprained his knee. But I love Toronto. And more so, I love the growth of the country. And that's what I tell young player, my
The
youngin'
organization itself, right?
yeah, I used
Yeah,
to tell
yeah, yeah.
when my young and Kyle Lowry got there, I used to say, dog, you know you're not playing just for a city. You playing for a country, man. You
It's a
playing for
fact.
Vancouver. You playing for Edmonton. You playing for Ottawa. You playing for Montreal. You playing for Regina. You playing for Halifax. You playing not just for Toronto. So a lot of people don't understand that's a whole country. So it's like a nationality that the fan base is there. So it's really exciting there. You even the worst times they still support their teams because it's only one team in that entire country. But I just love the way the franchise has developed over time. They got the championship. They've had guys come through there, DeMar DeRozan, Kawhi Leonard.
Kawhi, yeah.
I mean, so the organization is really, really growing thanks to Masai Ujiri, and even before him, you had Glenn Grunwald. Like the whole, you can't forget everybody, but
Do you
anybody.
think they like hockey more than ball?
Oh,
What do you
100%.
think? Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
We
It's a
got to
hockey.
change that narrative.
Yeah, that's embedded. That's embedded. But with that being said, Toronto, the basketball is moving fast. It's moved fast. Like you starting to hear people on the streets, and you hear the crowd. Man, it was a time when I was playing. They'd be playing the music during the game. Like you would
Oh,
like
that's
they just
crazy.
didn't. You know how they used to pass out they pass out the little clappers. So they pass out the clappers. When I first get there, they passing out the clappers to the wrong side of the court. So when we at the foul line, they clapping it. They came a long way, man. They came a long way, dog.
We
So
got to change that narrative, though, Alvin. Come
yeah,
on, you got
yeah.
to change that.
It's funny.
Even though, well, I think they gain more followers. What? But when y'all won, right? When they won,
No, for
I
sure,
think
for
they
sure.
they gain more followers, more. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
more people start like keeping an eye. But it started with Vince Carter. When Vince Carter got there, we became more recognizable from merchandising sales, from ticket sales,
100%. Yeah,
all
I
of those
agree.
type of things. And then it had a law. Chris Bosh came, and he was the face of it. And then he went to Miami. But after that, the Kyle Lowrys and DeMar DeRozan, these guys really jump started that kick again. And then when Kawhi came, they won that championship. So over time, man,
Yeah, that was
again,
great for the
they
country.
only been in existence for 30 years or something like that, dog. Like 1995, like 30 years. So, I mean, still, they're not no Boston Celtics or the Knicks or the Lakers. You know what I mean? So it'll come, but traditionally and historically and just that's just is grounded as a hockey town. So
Yeah.
gotta
You
share
know
that.
what? I wrote this question last night, right? And I just want to hear your perspective. I want to hear your opinion. What separates a good point guard from a great?
I think I think it mean goes across the board with any player, but from a good point guard, I think anything is consistency. But I think the way the point guard position is played today is totally different than it used to be played. It's not the same things aren't required for today's point guard. But for me, man, it's somebody who can manage a game, somebody who can keep the rhythm going. Like no matter
Okay.
what. Mike, you ain't get a couple shots and you slacking a little bit. Let me come to you. Let me call a play for you. Let me manipulate this defense to get my team going. So I think the great point guards can manage a game. They can control a game without scoring a bucket, without dropping a dime. They can put things in place and they can just keep that rhythm going. Now I can go get mines at any time I got the ball. I can I can ignore you over there because I got the ball. I can do a lot of different things. But that point guard that can manage the game from beginning to end, time and possession, who's getting the shot, when we getting the shot, how are we getting the shot? I
Right.
think that's the most important thing. And that's something I learned from a D Brown. I learned that from Muggsy Bogues, and I learned that from Mark Jackson, and I learned that from Rod Strickland. Being able to play with those guys, they were the masters of that, man. They could manipulate and control a whole like an orchestrator, dog. Like they were conductor. They were sitting there doing that. So I think that's the key.
So let me name five, and you let me know who's good and who's great.
Okay,
Rod Strickland.
great,
Okay. Chris Childs.
good.
Okay. Jason Williams.
Which one?
White Chocolate.
Good,
Ooh. Ooh. Come on, AW. I thought you was gonna say, okay, I got it. All right. Mike Bibby.
great,
Kyrie.
good.
Nah, hold on. Hey, come on, AW.
So you know it's gonna be crazy because they're gonna be like, who that bum? Who that
Holy
bum saying these guys?
wow. No. I'm just okay. I'm lost for words, but all right.
No, but you
Jalen
got you
Brunson.
got more names?
Jalen Brunson.
Great.
Damn, that's crazy. That's my point guard. Shout out to JB. All right, I got. Let me see two more. Kyle Lowry.
Great.
Ooh, okay. De'Aaron Fox.
Good.
Okay, now that I'm lost. How so? What
You
makes
asked
him good and not great?
you asked me a point guard, right?
Yeah,
Now, players, Darren Fox, great. Kyrie, outstanding. You ain't gonna
got it.
meet nobody.
Got it.
Outstanding. But point guard,
Got it.
who I
Got it.
who I watched Kyrie Irving go 3 or 4 games without an assist. I watched that. Now,
Makes
different
sense.
position,
Okay.
you got LeBron with him, but I look at a Kyle Lowry. I look at a Mike Bibby. I look at who else you say?
Jason Williams.
Jason Williams, who's good. Very good. Outstanding. He's on that outstanding. Flash, this, can make the shot. Today, NBA, he'd be killing.
Okay, JB. I'm sorry. JB is great. You said he was great.
Brunson, great. I think he manages the game. He handles the ball, and for my taste, a little too much, but he's great. He's managing the game. He's setting the table. He's manipulating it. He's finding things. He's not just going for his offense. So I look at a point guard again. Traditionally, a point guard, that's what I see. Now, all them people you're talking about, I wish I can curse, they some bad boys. They all bad, but I wouldn't want to see none of them on any given day. I wouldn't want to see them. But when I look at the point guard position again, and you got to think, I just mentioned the guys, the Rod Stricklands, the Mark Jacksons, the Muggsy Bogues. These are guys that I've watched control an entire game without scoring a point. And they make you wonder how. Mark Jackson, he'll push you up, make you double, kick it over to
Yeah.
you. Rod
Yeah.
Strickland, same thing. They could do all those different things, but I just think that point guard position is more of a mentality and not just a position. I always say that it's a mentality, not a position.
Okay, so since we're talking PGs, right? Let's talk some IQ then. How do you control the pace of a game when the momentum swings? How do you do that?
I think it's a feel. I think it's a feel. So again, today's game is totally different where they're taught and they're coached to push the pace, 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 pace. And you get the ball to the floor quickly, you pass it, you share it. Multiple people are handling the basketball, not just that one person. So if you're a point guard, I think you just gotta get a read. You know when a record you like a record and it's going a little too fast. Damn, why they rapping so fast? You know when something just ain't right. So
Yeah,
I
it
think,
sounds off. Yeah.
yeah. So I think when you recognize that, and then you grab a hold of it, you grab a hold of it. I'll say, hold on, we done got 3 bad shots in a row, or my main man didn't the main our main guy or the guy that's hot hasn't touched the ball yet. Or even on the defensive end, because I put that into it. Like defensively, you got to be
100%.
able to control
100%.
you got to be able to guard your position. So, but as that orchestrator, as that quarterback out there, I think you just got to have a feel. You got to have a feel. And sometimes this thing is too small. It's too slow. We got to keep pushing it, pushing it, pushing it. Get easy opportunities. Let me penetrate. Let me kick out. Let me finish at the rack. Let me create a foul. All those type of things. So I just think understanding that and having understanding the feel of a game and how it's going.
Okay.
That makes
Now,
sense.
no, absolutely. Absolutely. 1000%. Now, how do you, and I'm asking you, right? How did you read the defense in real time? Like, how do you do that? For
Um,
someone let's just say a casual fan or someone that watches ball, right? Um, and it was to ask you, hey, Alvin, how do you, I need some help with defense. How do you read the defense
so
in
it's like
real time?
it's kind of like for me, it's kind of like a boxer. I'm setting you up,
Okay.
and maybe I'm a counter puncher, or I'm setting you up, waiting for something. I may be setting a trap. So for me,
Oh, I like that. Okay.
it was easy for me, right? Because again, most of my career I played with Vince Carter. And
Yeah.
I'll be a liar if I sat here and act like I was Kyrie Irving or something like that. All I had to do, get a little action, get the team in position, get the ball up the floor. 24-second shot clock. I'm getting the ball up the floor with 21 seconds on the clock or 20 seconds on the clock. So I got the rest of the shot clock to work with. So I'm recognizing the time. I'm also recognizing I can get about 4 or 5 passes in the next 15 seconds. But where am I going with it? So I'm understanding where I'm trying to go with it. But me, pass the vents and pretty much get the hell out the way. And you eat the scraps whenever you finish what he's doing. But
Yeah.
also I'm looking at, for me, how they guard me on a pick and roll. Are they fighting over the top? Are they going under? Are they hedging? Are they trapping? What are they doing to try to disrupt the offense? Because the defense, they know where I'm trying to go. I'm trying to go to Vince. Everything else is all cute, but at the end of the day, the ball is going to Vince. But yo, can I set up Antonio Davis with a little pick and roll action and free it up for Vince later on in the third quarter? Because I'm playing the long game. I'm not playing the first two, four
Yeah,
possessions. I'm not playing first quarter, second quarter, third quarter. I'm
that's a
playing for the
fact.
fourth quarter. So you make those adjustments. So I think at the end of the day, it's like setting up traps, not always on the go. Sometimes I did need to be more aggressive early on just to free Vince up, depending on how the defense is playing you to make them honest. Because I remember, for instance, my first playoff series that I actually started, we was playing the New York Knicks. And I remember coming down, calling our plays, and Jeff Van Gundy was calling the plays and telling his team where we were going to be before we was there. So I'm calling the plays,
Wow.
defense is already set. So that's how organized and how well they scouted us. But I think for me, just setting those traps, reading how they're playing you, and you just see it. They're going to make every team's going to make adjustments. And if they don't, you just pick them alive. You pick them apart. But that's always the thing, just like just psychologically, how am I approaching every possession? And sometimes it's not that hard. Give it to Vince. He's rolling. He got 50 points. Keep him rolling. So I just always looked at it from that standpoint because, again, I wasn't a dynamic point guard. I wasn't the Chris Pauls. I wasn't the Jason Williams. I
Now you
wasn't.
was great, AW. Come on now.
No, I'm just talking
Let's
about as
give you
far
your credit.
but it's my
You was
role.
great.
I appreciate it. But my role, with the way I define great and good, I might be a little, I might be a little under that. But those guys had the ball in their hands a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
They really got it going. Mine's get up the court, give it to Vince, and then we play from there. Those guys really had to make stuff happen. Like
Vince had the green light to
the
do
what?
anything and everything.
Greener than them plants behind you, dog. Yeah. But Vince was it. Like
Yeah, yeah,
Vince was
yeah.
it. And people don't give Vince enough credit. He was smart up here. Like Vince knew
IQ.
how to
Yep.
read the defense. Like he not just the dunker and jump shooter. Like he knew the game.
He was jumping out the gym, all right, though, for sure.
Oh man, he was
For
different.
sure. He was
It
what?
just
Like
read.
he had a what? Like a 44, 47 vertical?
I wouldn't even put no
Probably
number
like a
on.
50 on it, right?
Yeah,
Crazy. Yeah, that
I
dude was
wouldn't even put no
flying.
number on his vert, dog. Like I don't like some people just you just can't even measure, man. You
What was
just
your
know
vert?
people just probably about 28.
28.
Yeah, mine
Dude, you
might
was
have been.
dunking though.
Yeah, I'm 6'4". I should have been dunking, but I ain't get that many dunks. But yeah, man, athleticism
Talking about
wasn't my
Vince, right?
choice.
AW talking about Vince. Any funny story we've never heard? Because I know you have said a few of them, you know what I mean? But I want to hear one that we
Mm.
like us, the fans of not just Vince, but yourself, you know what I mean? Toronto, the league, the NBA itself.
All right, so I'm cut from the cloth. I know I got a podcast now and all that stuff, but you see all these podcasts out here, and you see a lot of former players. They embellish a little bit. They take
Come
it,
on
and
now.
I think they break a little of the code of
Street code.
yeah,
The league code.
they tell a little too much. They talk a little too much. But I tell you, with Vince, man, I just remember Vince started having a difficult time in Toronto. They changed not ownership, but they changed management, changed coaches. And once, anything, like I said, that NBA like life, you start changing jobs, people gotta go. They start changing
Yeah,
things that's
yeah.
been set for a minute. So Vince started feeling that, and Vince started having injuries, and so he started wearing his frustration on him a bit, and rightfully so. But he's wearing his frustration. So one day we in practice.
I'm sorry, was that purposely done though? Or that's just the way he felt?
No, I think he read the writing on the wall. Some things start changing around the organization again, like that wasn't how it used to be and what he was traditionally used to.
Right, right.
So he just start feeling it a little bit. So one day we in practice and he'd been frustrated. So we scrimmaging, we getting it on. And it's just one of them practices. Everybody been through it playing, just one of them, it's chippy and everything. He get a steal. And the coach called a foul, blew the whistle, boop, stopped it. But he keeps going. He takes a half court and throws the ball at the rim down the court. And the thing bounced off the shot clock of the rim. But he keeps going. That thing bounced all the way up. And somehow, dog, he caught that thing and still dunked it. It was something I like.
What?
I'd never made. He stopped the
Wait,
play
wait, wait, wait.
stopped. He threw it. He threw it against the backboard. It bounced all the way, and he had to catch it by foul line, little in front of the foul line, but it was the most craziest thing, dog, because he threw the ball like he tried to break the backboard. So it came off so hard that it was just like I thought he was frustrated that they stopped the play, so he just threw the ball. But he, I throw off the backboard, go catch it
No,
and dunk it.
what?
But but that was one of them things I look like, oh yeah, Vince mad as hell right now. But that was something that
So
was
this
in
whole time, y'all thought he was tight, but he actually lobbed it to
yeah,
himself.
yeah. Nah, he darted it. He threw a bomb, a bullet, and it hit the
And the
shot clock. It
joint
didn't even hit the
just
backboard.
hit the
Hit the
clock
shot
and he
clock.
just bang.
Just went and dunked it. And it was like, I can't remember if we was like, all right, practice over. But I'll tell you this, dog. I had a lot of vets, and I can't tell those stories, but we had a lot of
Yeah,
vets.
yeah,
We had
yeah,
a lot, dog. Lots of stories, man. A lot of stories, a
yeah.
lot of things that happened in that locker room. Because remember, we played with vets, Oakley, coming from him and
Oh
Jordan days and the
man.
old Knicks days. You had D Brown, who played with Larry Bird. So these stories coming. You had Antonio Davis, who played with Reggie Miller. You had Kevin Willis, who played with Dominique Wilkins. It came a lot like so. It wasn't just those direct stories. And there you hear stories from all over the league. And like so we had a lot of stories, man, a lot of great times, man. But
I
that Vince
had Chris
Carter story is
Childs, right?
crazy.
I had Chris Childs on the pod, right? And this was
Mhm.
a while back when I first couple of months ago. And he said, I asked him, I said, you have any stories? And he said one that I don't even think he was supposed to say. You know what I'm saying? And I
In
looked at him
Toronto?
and I was, nah, I think it was the Knicks. Yeah, because
Okay.
LJ didn't play for Toronto.
Uh,
So yeah, the Knicks. And he said it. And I was like, yo, you sure? I was like, look, yeah, I can delete it. He's like, nah, put it on there. I said, you sure? I asked him like 2 or 3 times. He said, nah, keep it in there. But long story short, he said Oakley and LJ was talking about he was a boxer, he's a pro boxer, and he was a Golden Gloves and all that. Oakley heard it, and he was like, "What?" He's like, "Let's get it on. Let's you know what I mean." They started fighting, and that's the part that I really don't want to talk about. But because I had to delete that part. I just
oh,
left the
you
part
you
that
deleted that?
I wasn't doing that to him because I think he
Okay.
was mad at him. You know what I mean? So I was like, nah, I'm
Yeah.
not doing that. I'm taking that out.
Yeah.
Um, but long story short, somebody got their butt whooped. You know what I mean? Like they
Yeah.
ass whooped for real, for real. You know what I mean? And I was like, dang. And that
Yeah.
was during practice. And I was like, wow. He's like, yeah,
Those
bad though. Like bad, bad. I was like, wow, that's crazy. But
those those real men.
I'm sure you know who won though.
I don't. I don't. My
He
OG,
he was on your team.
yeah, yeah. OG, I seen OG. It was just he one of them things. He's one and shout out to Chili. You asked me about Chris Childs, a good point. And there's no slight to nobody. Good, great. That's all in the eye of the beholder. Chris Childs, what he brought to our team when we made that playoff run, without him, man, and we traded. Actually, he got traded for Mark Jackson,
I think
but
he had that grit. You know what I mean? Like that.
he
Yeah.
brought that toughness, and he just brought that. As many times talk about Gary Payton, Tim Hardaway. I didn't seen Chris Childs. Yeah, it's whatever or what.
Oh yeah,
Like I
nah,
got
for
no
sure.
Al. They used to call me Boogie or Boog. Boog, I got it. Let me guard him. And I seen it. I seen things change. So Chris Childs, man, shout out to Chris Childs. That was my rollie. We used to hang out, man. When he got there, Chris was wild, man. Chris brought New York to Toronto.
Yeah,
We wasn't doing
facts.
the things before Chris got there. Chris was wearing the minks and the diamonds and the Cristal. Like
Yeah, he was wilding. He was wilding.
Chris used to sit there. I remember one time we go out. He's like, man, he talking about they only got Dom P, knowing I'm Chris with a lot of style.
ah, ah,
Chris is
I
my
like
man.
that. I like
Chris is my
that.
man. That's Chris is
Yeah,
my
he
man.
said a
Shout
story
out to
too
Chris
about
Childs.
yeah, shout out to yeah, definitely. CC is a man. He also said a story about him getting robbed too in front of the garden. That was crazy.
Yeah, he
Uh,
told me about it. I
I
remember
think a
calling
30
me.
piece.
Yeah, he called me. He called me with that. It was after Toronto.
Yeah,
That was
right?
after
Something
Toronto.
like
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
yeah. That was
That
after
was
he went,
crazy,
he
man.
went and played with the Nets.
Yeah, that was wild. Can you walk us through that 2001 playoff run? How was that
Yeah,
like? That was iconic.
yeah. That was something special, man. Because again, the year before, the Knicks swept us. They swept us
I
a
remember that. I
five-game
remember
series,
AW. My
first round.
fault, AW. My bad. My
No, they
bad.
swept.
My bad. My bad. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they swept us, man. And I never forget. Charles Oakley. I used to hang with Oak. I used to hang with Oak. Oak take me out to dinner, and I was hanging with him. And I remember that we got swept in. I remember the first time I'm on the bench. I wasn't getting no tick. And I remember like, yo, dog, I can't be hanging out with Oak and I ain't getting no burn, man. I said, but before I anything happened, I gotta play at the Garden in the playoffs. I got it. The environment was so electrifying, dog. I'm watching
Yeah.
rappers, I'm seeing the act. I'm like, damn, but I'm not getting
Celebrity
no burn.
role, all that. Yeah, facts.
Yeah. So the next year, dog, I'm right back in the same position, but now I'm starting. So we traded Mark Jackson. I moved into the starting lineup, and now we're playing against them. And that was the story I was telling you about. Van Gundy had everything we was trying to do. So that series it went 5 games and went back and forth. They won the first game, we won the second game. I think we
I
won the
remember
third,
that.
they won the fourth, and then we won the fifth on that court. But everybody stepped up. Charles Oakley back there, and Charles Oakley pretty much saved us. After game one, we went back to Toronto, and rest in peace to the legendary, and he really shaped in my career, Lenny Wilkins. Lenny
Oh
Wilkins,
yeah, yeah.
without him, man,
Rest in peace, coach. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
facts.
I was out the league without Coach Wilkins, man, or I would have been in another situation. But I remember him. Oakley went back and challenged Coach Wilkins, and the coaching staff was like, "Hey, we were out coached. They were more prepared than us." So game two, we practiced against each other like we was playing against the Knicks, and I just remember us having an entirely different game plan. And then we ended up taking it, and then they made an adjustment. They had Glenn Rice, so they put Glenn Rice at the 4. So he was stretching the floor out like kind of like today's game.
Yeah.
So, 4, they take Kurt Thomas out of there and they would have Marcus Camby. But also that during that series, Marcus Camby had family issues. I think his sister was abducted or something like that
Yeah,
during that.
facts. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
So they
yeah.
went through a lot internally, but we put Jerome Williams, JYD, at the 4.
A
So he
dog.
negated and he negated him defensively. But I will say this, man. What I do remember I remember Allen Houston kicking my ass. Oh my God, Allen. Oh my God.
I'm about to get
He
AH on a pod too.
when you
I'm
do, please
I'm gonna
tell him.
tell him, yeah.
Please tell him I said hello and all respect. We still see each other. We had the same agent at the time. So, but when I say another person I looked up to coming out of Tennessee and his relationship with his father, as I explained, I had a close relationship with my father. So I always respected that, him playing for his pop in
Yeah,
Tennessee.
yeah, yeah.
So I always looked at that. But then when I got a chance to really play against him, oh my God, man, no sleep, no sleep. So that playoff series against the Knicks was
I
crazy.
love that. AW, no lie. The mutual respect that players have amongst each other is crazy.
Yeah,
I love it, man. You
yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah,
I haven't come across not one player who talks, ish about the other. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I've always come across like yo, how's he doing? See what you just said? Oh, when you see him, like I love that, man. The brotherhood, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
that's
nah,
that's so cool.
it's real.
I have two or three more for you, AW, right?
Sure,
What would you want your legacy to be? Because
man.
and I say that to say this, right? And I'm sorry to cut you off, but earlier you said something that really kind of to me, right? First of all, I want to say thank you for taking some time, right? To come
Mhm.
speak to me and hang out with me and my audience. Secondly, you were not good, you were great. You know what I'm saying? And to me, in my eyes, right? Even if Cut mentioned you, I was still gonna bring you up anyway. You know why? Because I saw you play. If it wasn't for you, Cut, Chris Childs, Joe Smith, you know what I'm saying? The brothers that I've had on this pod, I think I would have been dead because I had to run back home to see you guys play. That's how much I love ball. Mind you, I'm only 5'7", AW, right? But I played and people could tell you this. I'm sure they're gonna write it, they're gonna say it, they're gonna scream it, they're gonna screenshot it, all that. I played like Kyrie. Like that
Okay.
was my game. And I was 5'7". You're
Uh-huh.
gonna see my audience is gonna you're gonna see.
Okay.
I used to dunk at 5'7".
Oh wow. Okay.
Crazy, hops like crazy. So this is why I mentioned vert earlier. My vert was probably like 42, 43 at 5'7".
Okay.
Yeah, bunnies for real. But yeah,
Yeah, I
yeah,
hear
for sure, for sure. But
that.
going back to, I just wanted to say that you guys to me, right, were and still are like my superheroes, you know what I'm saying?
I
Because
appreciate it.
watch you guys play, man, bro, I had to be home. You know what I
Nah,
mean? 8 o'clock, seven. No, listen, I'm running back home. Forget the streets. I have to go watch the game. And
right.
mind you, back then we didn't have FanDuel, Fanatics. You know what I'm saying? To bet on the outside if I'm doing something. No, I had to watch the game. You know what I mean?
Yeah, nah, I got you. No, for
So
sure.
I just want to say thank you.
I
I'm giving
appreciate
you
it.
your flowers.
I
You know,
appreciate it.
and you got to send me a PO box or something like that so I can send you something, man.
I got you. No,
Yeah, I
for
want
sure.
to send you something because I this year 2026, no lie, AW, I'm doing what Nori does, and I don't know if you watch his pod, but he typically gives his guests flowers. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? And that's what I want to do for the guests that I bring up now and people that I look up to. You know what I mean?
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for the kind words, man. Like I said, like you say that, like it ain't for me to say I'm great or good or whatever. I just, you know what I mean? At the same time, it's always when you appreciate it and respect it, man, it's how you project yourself, right? So I appreciate it. Me and Cat, we always Cat, me and he still you could have did it, and we always go back and forth and all that, man. But no, it's all and it's nothing like receiving love from your peers, people you competed against, or people that appreciate your game. So I
Facts.
appreciate the kind words, man.
Yeah. So as I said, what would you want your legacy to be?
Man, you know what's crazy? When I was young, I never really believed in the legacy piece. 'Cause people gonna think or they gonna feel when you're gone, however. But as of late, we talked about my parents. My parents passed away, and talk after my father passed away, I bumped into a lot of people who showed a lot of love and respect, and they would have little stories from my pop, but they all had kind words to say about him. Like he was a stand-up person. My legacy is just that I want my kids. I got two daughters, two daughters and a young son, 9-year-old son, 12-year-old daughter, and an 18-year-old, 19-year-old daughter. And I want when I'm gone, people to say the same things or similar things that they say about my pop. And that means a lot to me because that's all I got now as far as those memories. So when I do bump into somebody that acknowledge my pop and show respect to my pop or take a little time out and say, man, your pop was all right. He was A1. I want that. I want that to be, I want people to go out their way to be able to do that for my kids when I'm gone.
That's dope, man. Damn, that's fire. Last question. Now, let's say the world is waiting for an advice from AW, and I'm talking about the whole world. They're waiting for one advice from you. What would it be?
Simple, man. That don't get distracted. I think I think, man, so many things out here, especially with these devices and these media outlets and this news and these people out here. I think a lot of people get distracted from running a race. And I think
Wow.
how people look at people really don't focus on their race. They see so many things out the peripheral and they see what somebody else is doing and they start comparing it. And I think once you start comparing, you start stealing your joy because now you thinking about something else. So I keep it simple, man. Like don't get distracted. Run your race. Whatever your race is, you know what I mean? You run it. You
Yeah,
run
don't
it.
stop.
Yeah, you just run your race, man, and not to get distracted because I think there's so many things out here deliberately try to distract us from being the best version of ourselves. So whatever it is, if it's business, if it's academically, if it's your family, if it's sports, if it's society, your health, that's your race. Make sure you run it because it's only you the only one that can, you know what I mean, manage that, man. So with that, so that's pretty much a simple piece of advice that I would give somebody.
A lot of people see there's joy and happiness,
Hmm.
right? Which are two totally different uh I guess emotions, right? Happiness is temporary, joy is permanent. So I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you mentioned that. And for my audience, please go, man, subscribe, go like, go comment, go ham on his page, please. You know what I'm saying? Go like now. Once you see this video, run to his IG to his podcast page. Shout it out if you like.
Uh, it's Check Game podcast. We have Check Game. It's Check Game Network. We just started, and again, I'm proud of it because it's me and my cousin Devon Gaskin, who's my cousin's nephew. He's doing the editing, he's doing everything behind the scenes. But me and my cousin got a chance to live with me. He from North Philly, from the projects in North Philly, Diamond Street. And if you're from Philly, you understand Diamond Street, North
Oh
Philly.
yeah,
Every hood got their hood or whatever, but he's from that side. So we made a decision for him to come with me to Toronto at a young age. So he stayed with me. He stayed with me in Toronto. He grew. I took him everywhere with me with it, and he was a young man. He wasn't a kid. He was a young man into his own world, but he did a very nice job of adjusting, um, leaving certain aspects of his life. He got that hustle in him. So one day he was like, "Yo, Al, let's do this together," and we just start talking about it. Like one end of the spectrum to his side of the spectrum, and we collaborated. So I'm proud of it because I'm looking at his work ethic again. I'm seeing his hustle. I'm seeing he's
that's dope.
still making things happen. So it's a good situation for me and him be doing this together. And here in Philly, I think people appreciate seeing me and him together doing this. So we stay connected. So yeah, it's Check Game Network. And we do a podcast and we also do like a sports show. We do a recap of the week of the NBA. So we just having fun with it, man, learning, growing in this podcast space, getting our vocals out there, just attracting the people, man. So all that. So we appreciate you giving us a shout out, man. And I'm a shout out to you as well, man. Listen to your story, listen to what you got going on and everything, man. Thanks for reaching out to me. You interviewed my brother Cat, so I appreciate you having me on as well.
Are you my brother, man? Like we stamped that today. You
Yep.
my brother, you know. Again, I got I got your number. We're definitely gonna tap in. We gonna we got a link this summer, man.
Yeah. No, for
We
sure.
gonna make something happen. Even collab if
Yeah.
possible.
No, for sure, man.
Bro, both of our audiences and we go from there. But again, I
Yeah.
thank you. Like, comment, and subscribe. Please go follow my brother. Thank you so much, AW. I
I
appreciate
appreciate
you.
you.